The secret to getting everything you desire is to stop doing anything to get it. This may sound like a paradox, but it is the final and most profound truth of creation. You have learned the rules of manifestation, but the relentless doing, the visualizing, the affirming, the striving, can keep you in a state of separation from your desires. This guide is the last word on abundance because it takes you beyond the techniques and into a state of being. It is a masterclass in shifting your entire identity so that abundance is no longer something you attract, but is simply a natural and constant reflection of who you have become. The last word on abundance, beyond manifestation into a state of being, written and published by Success Attraction Formula. Chapter 1, Beyond the Rules of Manifestation. For years, the world of conscious creation has been presented as a set of rules, a divine formula to be followed with precision. You have been taught to visualize for a certain number of minutes, to craft the perfect affirmation, to perform the correct ritual, and to hold your thoughts with unwavering focus. And while these techniques are beautiful and powerful doorways, for many they can inadvertently become a new kind of struggle, a new form of striving. We become technique junkies, constantly seeking the next, better, more powerful method. We get so caught up in the doing of manifestation that it becomes another job, another thing on our to-do list. We begin to judge our own efforts. Did I visualize for long enough? Was my affirmation worded correctly? Am I doing this right? This very effort, this anxiety about getting the rules right, can create a subtle, underlying energy of stress and lack. It reinforces the core belief that abundance is something outside of us, a prize that must be earned through the perfect execution of a series of spiritual gymnastics. We believe that if we just follow the rules of the game perfectly, we will finally win the prize, which keeps us in a state of perpetual separation from the very abundance we are seeking. The transformative and liberating truth that this guide offers is this: true, lasting, and effortless abundance begins where the techniques end. The rules of manifestation are like the training wheels on a bicycle. They are incredibly useful and necessary when you are first learning to find your balance. They give you a sense of safety and a structure to follow. But no one is meant to ride with training wheels forever. The ultimate goal of learning to ride a bike is to get to a point where you no longer think about the mechanics of balancing at all. You simply get on and ride, your body having so fully embodied the skill that it has become second nature. In the same way, the ultimate goal of this work is not to get better at doing the techniques of manifestation. It is to practice them with such devotion that you finally graduate beyond them, shifting into a permanent state of being where abundance is your natural and automatic reality. It is a profound identity shift from being a person who is practicing abundance to a person who simply is abundance. To begin this graduation process, you must first reframe the purpose of all the techniques you have ever learned. The visualization, the affirmations, the scripting, the gratitude lists, these are not the cause of your manifestation. They have only one single sacred purpose: to help you generate a feeling. The feeling is the prayer. The feeling is the destination. The technique is just the vehicle you use to get there. Consider the story of two individuals, both desiring greater financial prosperity. The first, Mark, is a diligent student of manifestation rules. Every morning, he spends 30 minutes performing a rigid visualization technique he learned. He sees the numbers in his bank account, he imagines the new car, he visualizes paying his bills with ease. But as he does this, his inner state is one of tense effort. He is trying very hard to make it work, and when he finishes, he feels a sense of relief that the chore is over. Throughout the rest of his day, his dominant feeling is one of low-grade anxiety about his current financial situation. The second individual, Helen, takes a different approach. She knows the techniques, but she is more interested in the feeling. Instead of a rigid visualization, she simply asks herself each morning, what is one small thing I can do right now to feel a little more abundant? Some days, this might be taking 5 minutes to savor a really good cup of coffee, feeling deep gratitude for that simple luxury. Other days, it might be taking a walk in a beautiful, wealthy neighborhood, not with a sense of envy, but simply to absorb the feeling of beauty and peace. Another day, it might be the simple act of cleaning and organizing her wallet. Her focus is not on doing the technique right, but on finding small, authentic ways to generate the feeling of abundance in her present moment. Mark is focused on the vehicle. Helen is focused on the destination. Over time, Helen's outer world begins to shift dramatically. New opportunities appear. Her small business gets a surprise new client. She finds a $20 bill on the street. Her reality is beginning to reflect her dominant feeling state. Mark, for all his diligent effort, remains stuck. This is the great secret. The universe is not responding to the perfection of your technique. It is responding to the authenticity of your feeling. Your state of being is the most powerful signal you can ever broadcast. The techniques are simply your tools for learning how to consciously and deliberately choose your state of being. So, you must begin to approach your practices with a new sense of lightness and play. You will no longer ask, "Am I doing this right?" but instead, "Is this practice helping me to feel the way I want to feel?" If a particular visualization feels like a struggle, let it go. If repeating an affirmation feels robotic and untrue, find different words that feel better. Your only goal is to find the path of least resistance to the feeling of your wish already fulfilled. For one person, this might be through music. Listening to a powerful, uplifting song might be the fastest way for them to feel successful and empowered. For another, it might be through service, where the act of helping someone else makes them feel truly abundant. You must become a gentle, compassionate scientist of your own joy, discovering what uniquely and authentically works for you. When you release the need to follow the rules perfectly, and instead make the cultivation of your desired feeling your one and only goal, the entire process transforms from a stressful chore into a joyful and creative game. You now understand that the ultimate goal is not to become a better rule follower, but to transcend the rules entirely. It is to move from a life based on the intermittent doing of a practice into a life that is a permanent expression of a new state of being. But how exactly is this profound identity shift made? How do you move from being a person who occasionally practices the feeling of abundance to becoming a person who simply, naturally, and permanently is abundance in human form? In the next chapter, we will explore the practical and profound art of moving from a practice into a person. Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 2. From a Practice into a Person. Consider the craft of a truly great actor. A novice actor learns their lines, they stand where they are told, and they say the words with the correct inflection. They are doing the practice of acting, but a master actor does something far more profound. They do not just say the character's lines, they become the character. They delve so deeply into the character's inner world that they begin to think, to feel, and even to move as the character would, both on and off the stage. They are no longer a person practicing a role. They have fused their own consciousness with the consciousness of the character, embodying it so completely that their performance becomes a breathtakingly authentic expression of a new being. This is the journey we must all take on our path to abundance. In the last chapter, we learned that the goal is to move beyond the techniques and into a state of being. Now, we must learn how to make that state of being our permanent new identity. The great challenge that many people face is the knowing-doing gap. They understand the principles of abundance intellectually. They can have a powerful visualization or a moment of deep gratitude, and for those 5 or 10 minutes, they are a person who is practicing abundance. But then the practice ends, and for the other 23 hours and 55 minutes of the day, they revert back to their old identity. Their daily habits, their automatic emotional reactions, and their unconscious self-talk are all still rooted in their old story of lack and limitation. There is a profound disconnect between the person they are in their spiritual practice and the person they are in their actual life. The transformative solution is to consciously and deliberately choose to embody the identity of the person you wish to become. You must understand the fundamental universal law that you do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. Your life is a perfect mirror of your dominant identity. Therefore, the most powerful creative work you can ever do is the work of identity shifting. You must stop seeing yourself as a person of lack who is trying to attract abundance, and you must start seeing yourself as an abundant person who is temporarily experiencing a cash flow problem. This is a subtle but monumentally powerful shift in perspective. You are not trying to get something that is outside of you. You are simply allowing your outer world to catch up with the truth of who you have now decided to be. This is not about faking it till you make it in a dishonest way. It is about being it until you see it. It is the art of becoming the master actor in the magnificent story of your own life, so fully embodying your new chosen role that the universe has no choice but to provide you with the stage, the props, and the supporting cast to match. The first principle in this identity shift is to ask the defining question, who do I need to be? Before you can embody a new identity, you must first define it with clarity. This is a different question than what do I want to have? It goes much deeper. The practice is identity journaling. You will take your primary desire and you will ask yourself a series of powerful questions about the person who is already living that reality. For example, if your desire is for a thriving, successful business, you will ask, who is the version of me who is the CEO of this thriving business? What are their core qualities? Are they confident? Are they decisive? Are they creative? Are they generous? How do they handle challenges? How do they manage their time? What are their beliefs about their own value and the value of their service? You will write a detailed character profile of this version of yourself. This is the person you are now choosing to become. This character profile is your new identity blueprint, the role you are now committed to playing with all your heart. Once you have the blueprint for your new identity, the second principle is to begin to live that identity through congruent action. Your identity is not just a mental concept. It is forged through your daily choices and actions. You must begin to consistently act as if you are already the person you have decided to be. This is about embodying the qualities of your desired state in your present moment. For instance, you have defined the CEO version of yourself as being confident, decisive, and generous. You must now look for opportunities to practice these qualities in your current life, no matter your current circumstances. When you are faced with a small decision, you will not waver in indecision. You will practice being decisive. When you have an opportunity to speak, you will not be timid. You will practice speaking with confidence. When you are at a coffee shop, you will practice being generous by leaving a kind tip. These small, congruent actions are incredibly powerful. Each one is a declaration to your subconscious mind and to the universe that says, "This is who I am now." You are rehearsing your new role, and the more you rehearse, the more natural and authentic it becomes, until it is no longer an act, but simply who you are. The third and most crucial principle is the power of habitual alignment. An identity is not built on a few grand gestures, but on the foundation of small, consistent daily habits. Your habits are the unconscious architecture of your life and your identity. To truly become your new self, you must consciously install the habits of that new self. The practice is to identify one or two keystone habits of your new abundant identity. A keystone habit is a small habit that naturally and automatically leads to other positive behaviors. For the CEO in our example, a powerful keystone habit might be a morning mindset routine. They might decide that the first 30 minutes of their day will be dedicated to practices that cultivate the feeling of being a successful leader, perhaps by reading an inspiring business biography, reviewing their goals with a sense of certainty, or visualizing their team succeeding. By consistently performing this one keystone habit, they set a powerful, confident, and proactive tone for their entire day, which naturally influences all of their subsequent choices and actions. For someone embodying an identity of health, the keystone habit might be preparing a healthy lunch every evening for the next day. This one small habit prevents them from making poor food choices out of convenience and has a cascading positive effect. By focusing on installing just one or two of these small, powerful keystone habits, you begin to automate your new identity, making it your new, unconscious normal. You are now learning the profound and practical art of moving from a person who is doing a practice to a person who is a new reality. You are no longer just an actor reading lines. You are becoming the character, embodying the very essence of the abundance you desire. But what about the old character you used to play? The old identity, with its familiar stories of lack, of struggle, and of limitation, is a powerful and often stubborn tenet in your consciousness. How do you now lovingly, gracefully, and effectively serve this old identity an eviction notice? How do you help it to move out completely so that your new, magnificent, and abundant self can fully and permanently move in? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 3. Dissolving your old identity of lack. Consider the beautiful and profound process of a snake shedding its old skin. As the snake grows, its outer layer of skin becomes tight, restrictive, and no longer serves its expanding being. For the new, vibrant, and larger skin to emerge in all its glory, the old skin must be completely and irrevocably let go. It is a natural, necessary, and often uncomfortable process of release. The snake must rub against rough surfaces to patiently and deliberately work its way out of the old, constricting form. It cannot cling to its old skin out of a sense of sentimental attachment or fear of the unknown. It must fully release the old to fully step into the new. This is a perfect metaphor for the process of dissolving your own old identity of lack. As you begin to practice embodying your new, abundant self, your old identity, the collection of stories, beliefs, and habits that has defined you for years, will begin to feel tight and restrictive. It no longer fits the expanding person you are becoming. For your new identity to become your permanent reality, the old, familiar identity of lack, of struggle, and of not enough must be lovingly and completely shed. The great challenge here is that this old identity, as uncomfortable as it may have been, feels safe. It is who we have always known ourselves to be. Letting it go can feel like a death, and this can trigger immense fear and a powerful, unconscious resistance. This old identity will often fight to maintain its existence, creating powerful acts of self-sabotage just as you get close to a major breakthrough. The transformative and liberating solution is not to engage in a violent and aggressive battle to kill your old self. This only creates more inner conflict and strengthens the very identity you are trying to release. The path to freedom is a gentle, compassionate, and deliberate process of dissolving the old identity with the powerful light of your own conscious awareness. You must see your old identity not as an enemy, but as an old, outdated costume that you have been wearing. Your work is to simply and consciously stop putting on the costume every morning. You will learn to recognize the thoughts, the feelings, and the behaviors of your old identity, not as you, but as the patterns of an old program that is still running. And by consistently and consciously choosing not to engage with these old patterns, you begin to starve them of their energy and their power. Like an unwatered plant, the old identity, when it is no longer fed by your attention and your belief, will naturally wither and fall away, leaving the beautiful, vibrant, and authentic you to finally emerge. The first step in this dissolving process is to become a master of pattern recognition. You must become an expert at noticing the signature patterns of your old identity of lack. What are its favorite thoughts? It might be, I can't afford that, or this is too hard, or it's not fair. What are its go-to emotions? It might be worry, envy, or a sense of helpless resignation. What are its habitual behaviors? It might be mindless scrolling on social media to avoid taking action, or it might be making small, scarcity-driven financial decisions out of fear. The practice is to observe these patterns as they arise within you with the detached curiosity of a scientist. You will not judge them. You will not shame yourself for them. You will simply notice them and label them. When the familiar thought of, there's never enough money arises, you will calmly say to yourself, I recognize that. That is a thought pattern from my old identity of lack. This simple act of noticing and labeling is incredibly powerful. It creates a space between you, the conscious observer, and the pattern itself. In that space, you have the freedom to make a new choice, You are no longer unconsciously run by the old program. You are the conscious operator who is choosing to run a new one. Once you have become adept at recognizing the old patterns, the second step is conscious non-engagement. This is the active and deliberate choice to withdraw your energy and your focus from the old identity. The old identity is like a dramatic actor on a stage, and it thrives on your attention. When it comes out and begins its familiar monologue of fear and lack, you must learn to become a bored and uninterested audience member. You will not argue with it. You will not try to reason with it. You will simply turn your attention elsewhere. The practice is to pivot your focus. The moment you recognize an old, limiting pattern beginning to play out, you will consciously and immediately pivot your focus onto something that is aligned with your new, abundant identity. For example, you are looking at your bank account, and the old identity of lack begins its dramatic performance, creating a feeling of panic and a flood of worried thoughts. You recognize the pattern. You will then consciously pivot. You will literally turn away from the computer screen, and you will put on a piece of uplifting music, or you will pick up your evidence log and read about your past successes, or you will go and do one small, congruent action that your new, abundant self would do. You are refusing to give the old actor an audience. By consistently and deliberately withdrawing your focus and your energy from the old patterns, you are cutting off their life support. The third and ultimate step in this process is the gratitude and release ritual. The old identity, with all of its fears and limitations, was originally created by a younger version of you for a very important reason: to keep you safe. Its fearful stories were its best attempt to protect you from hurt, from failure, and from rejection. To fully and lovingly release this old identity, you must first honor it for the role it has played. The most powerful way to do this is to write a farewell letter to your old identity. In your journal, you will write a letter as if you are speaking to an old and dear friend who has been with you your whole life. You will start by thanking it. You might write, "Dear old self, the part of me that has always worried about money, I want to thank you. I know you were only trying to protect me, to make sure I was always careful and never ended up in a dangerous situation. I appreciate your service." Then, you will lovingly but firmly declare that its service is no longer needed. But I want you to know that I am an adult now. I am powerful, I am wise, and I am connected to an infinite source of abundance. I no longer need your protection in this way. I am choosing to live a new life of trust, of ease, and of joy. And finally, you will release it with love. I now release you with my deepest love and gratitude. You are free to go. I am free to become who I was always meant to be. This profound act of gratitude and release is what allows the old skin to finally and completely fall away. You are now clearing the final and most personal form of noise, the noise of your old, outdated, and limiting identity. You are stepping more and more fully into the beautiful, powerful, and authentic truth of who you are, an abundant, creative, and magnificent being. The space within you is becoming clearer, purer, and more potent than ever before. Now that this sacred inner space has been prepared, what is the most direct and powerful practice of all for energizing this space with the precise magnetic frequency of your desire? How do you learn to consciously and deliberately assume the pure, unadulterated feeling of your wish already being fulfilled, making it your dominant state of being and the irresistible magnet for your miraculous new reality? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 4. Assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. A master actor who is preparing for a profound and challenging role does not simply memorize their lines. They go on a deep, inner journey to find the emotional truth of the character. If the character is experiencing deep joy, the actor will not just put on a fake smile. They will dig into their own past and find a memory of pure, unadulterated joy. They will then allow the authentic, physiological sensation of that past joy to fill their entire body, and it is from this place of genuine, embodied feeling that they will deliver their lines. Their performance becomes breathtakingly real and powerful, because for that moment they are not acting joyful. They have assumed the feeling of joy and have become it. This is the secret to all-powerful creation. You have now done the beautiful work of clearing the space for your new, abundant identity to emerge. The next and most potent step in this journey is to learn the art of the master actor. You must learn how to consciously and deliberately assume the authentic, embodied feeling of your wish already being fulfilled. The great challenge at this stage is that we often try to think our way into a new feeling. We repeat affirmations and we think about our goals, but our bodies remain in the familiar, contracted state of our old reality. The feeling of abundance seems distant, inauthentic, and out of reach. We are trying to say the lines of an abundant character while still carrying the heavy, anxious posture of our old self. The transformative and most direct path to embodying your new identity is to understand that the subconscious mind and the responsive universe do not primarily respond to your thoughts or your words. They respond to your feelings. Your feeling state is the language of creation. Therefore, the most powerful and direct way to impress your new reality upon the creative canvas of the universe is to generate the authentic, physiological feeling of your desire as if it were already a present fact reality. This is not about pretending in a way that feels false. It is the sacred art of using your magnificent creative imagination and your own emotional history to generate a genuine chemical and energetic shift within your own body. When you can successfully and consistently assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are no longer just practicing to be a new person. You have begun the profound and magical process of actually becoming them. Your body, your nervous system, and your energetic field all begin to literally rewire themselves to match this new, chosen state of being. And as your inner state changes, your outer world, the perfect mirror, must inevitably follow suit. The first principle in this practice is to understand that the feeling is the secret. To generate a future feeling, you do not have to invent it out of thin air. You can use your own past as a powerful gateway. Every emotion you could ever wish to feel in the future, you have already felt at some point in your past. The practice for this is emotional recall. You will take the core emotional essence of your desire, the feeling you uncovered in the previous chapters, and you will find a past memory that contains a similar emotional flavor. For example, if the core feeling of your desire for financial abundance is one of profound security and relief, you will not try to imagine what that feels like. Instead, you will scan your memory banks for a time, any time, when you have felt a genuine sense of security and relief. It does not have to be related to money. Perhaps it was the moment you passed a difficult exam in school. Perhaps it was the moment a health scare turned out to be nothing. You will close your eyes and you will re-enter that memory with all your senses. You will feel the immense wave of relief washing over your body. You will feel the tension leave your shoulders. You will feel the deep, peaceful exhale. By reactivating this past feeling, you are bringing its authentic, physiological signature into your present moment. You can then attach this genuine feeling to the vision of your new, desired reality. You are borrowing the authentic feeling from your past to give life to your future. The second principle is to use your physical body as a direct somatic bridge to your desired emotional state. Your body and your emotions are inextricably linked. It is very difficult to feel depressed while you are smiling broadly and skipping. It is very difficult to feel powerful and confident while you are slumped over with your head down. You can use your body to lead your mind. The practice is to discover the unique physical signature of your desired feeling. You will ask yourself, if I were already living in the feeling of my wish fulfilled, how would my body be different? If your desire is for success and confidence, you might realize that your posture would be more upright. Your shoulders would be back, your breathing would be deep and steady, and your gaze would be level. Your practice, then, is to consciously and deliberately assume this physical posture throughout your day. When you are feeling doubtful, you will literally and physically shift your posture into the posture of confidence. You will stand up straighter, you will pull your shoulders back, and you will breathe deeply. This is not about faking it. It is a scientifically proven principle known as embodied cognition. By changing your physical state, you are sending a powerful signal to your brain to produce the chemical and emotional state that is congruent with that posture. You are using your body as a powerful and direct tool to help you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The third and ultimate principle is to make this new feeling your habitual abode. It is one thing to feel abundant for 5 minutes during a meditation. It is another thing entirely to make abundance your default, habitual state of being. The goal is to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled so consistently that it becomes more familiar to you than your old feelings of lack and worry. This is what truly shifts your identity. The practice for this is weaving the feeling. You will look for small, simple opportunities throughout your day to weave your desired feeling into your present moment experience. For example, your desired feeling is one of profound peace. As you are washing the dishes, instead of letting your mind race, you will consciously focus on the feeling of the warm water on your hands, and you will generate your feeling signature of peace. As you are driving, you will turn off the anxious news, and you will play a piece of calming music that helps you embody the feeling of peace. You are not waiting for your life to change to feel peaceful. You are using your present moments to practice the feeling of peace, which is what will cause your life to change. This consistent weaving of your desired feeling into the fabric of your daily life is what dissolves the old identity and forges the new one. You are no longer a person visiting the state of abundance. You are a person who has taken up permanent residence there. You have now learned the most direct, potent, and profound practice in this entire guide. You have learned to move beyond just thinking about your desire, and you have learned how to truly, deeply, and authentically embody the feeling of its fulfillment, making it your new, natural state of being. You are now living from the end result. But as you begin to hold this new inner state, what happens when you look at the world outside of you? What do you do when the physical world, your outer reality, still seems to reflect your old, outdated story of lack? How do you learn to look at your current circumstances without losing your new, powerful feeling state? How do you relate to the world as the perfect mirror that it is? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula. Give this video a like and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 5: The World as Your Perfect Mirror. Your outer life is a perfect, unflinching, and completely impersonal mirror. It does not judge you. It does not have opinions about you. It does not decide what you are worthy of. It simply and perfectly reflects back to you the truth of who you believe you are and what you feel to be true on the inside. Every person you interact with, every circumstance you encounter, and every number in your bank account is a direct reflection of your own inner state of being, your own consciousness. When you look in a physical mirror and you see a frown on your face, you do not get angry at the mirror. You do not try to argue with the reflection or force it to smile. You understand instantly and intuitively that if you want the reflection to change, you must first change the source of the reflection. You must smile. The same is profoundly true for the great mirror of your life. The great challenge that we all face, especially after we have begun the powerful work of assuming our new, abundant state of being, is that we look into the mirror of our current reality, and we still see the reflection of our old self, our old story of lack. We see the bills that are still due, the job that is still unfulfilling, the relationship that is still challenging. And when we see this old reflection, we fall into despair. We conclude that our inner work is not working. And in that moment of discouragement, we drop our new smiling state of being and we revert back to our old familiar frown. And of course, the mirror of life simply continues to reflect that frown back to us, perfectly. The transformative and liberating solution is to learn how to work with the mirror of reality, with wisdom, with patience, and with an unshakable understanding of how it functions. You must stop fighting with the reflection. You must stop getting emotionally triggered by your current circumstances. You must learn to look at your outer world as simply old news, as a delayed reflection of a past inner state. Your work is not to fix the reflection. Your work is to hold your new, smiling inner state so consistently and so faithfully that the mirror has no choice but to eventually reflect it back to you. When you can master your relationship with the mirror, you become truly free. You are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are the calm, powerful, and conscious creator who understands that the outside world is not the cause of your feelings, but is simply the effect of your inner state of being. The first principle in mastering your relationship with the mirror is to understand and deeply accept the principle of the lag time. In the physical world, a mirror reflects instantly. But in the energetic world of consciousness, there is a natural and necessary buffer of time, or a lag time, between the moment you change your inner state and the moment that change is fully and stably reflected in your outer world. This is not a flaw in the system, it is a beautiful and merciful feature. This lag time gives you the space to stabilize your new identity and your new feeling state. It ensures that your reality does not change with every fleeting, fearful thought you might have. To work with this, you must cultivate the quality of patience. You must become like a person who has just painted a beautiful, fresh coat of paint on the walls of a room. You do not panic if the paint is not instantly dry in 5 seconds. You understand that it needs time to set. You trust the process. The practice here is to consistently remind yourself of this principle. When you look at your current reality and see the old reflection, you will not fall into despair. You will simply say to yourself, with calm certainty, I see that. That is just the old paint drying. That is a reflection of my past vibration. I am patiently and confidently holding my new vibration, and I know that the reflection must, by law, eventually change to match it. While you are patiently honoring the lag time, the second principle is to learn to look for the first glimmers of the new reflection. The mirror of your reality will not change all at once in a single, dramatic flash. It will begin to change in small, subtle, and often almost imperceptible ways at first. These are the first glimmers of your new reality beginning to emerge. Your job is to train your eyes to spot these first, hopeful signs. A glimmer might be a small, unexpected synchronicity. It might be a new creative idea that seems to come to you from out of nowhere. It might be a small, unexpected financial gift or discount. It might be a stranger smiling at you or a friend offering a word of encouragement at the perfect moment. These are not just random, insignificant events. These are the very first pixels of your new reality beginning to appear on the screen. The practice is to keep a glimmer journal. At the end of each day, you will write down every single tiny piece of evidence you observed that day that your new inner state is beginning to be reflected back to you. By consciously looking for and documenting these glimmers, you are doing two powerful things. You are training your brain to focus on the evidence of positive change, which builds your faith and your momentum. And you are sending a powerful message of acknowledgement back to the universe, which often causes the glimmers to appear more and more frequently. The third and ultimate principle in working with the mirror is to learn to bless the old reflection instead of reacting to it. This is the most advanced and most powerful practice of all. When you look in the mirror of your life and you see a reflection you do not like, a bill you cannot pay, a challenging interaction, a frustrating circumstance, your old, habitual reaction is to meet it with fear, with anger, or with despair. But what happens when you react to a reflection with negative energy? You are, in that moment, dropping your new, smiling state, and you are once again frowning, and the mirror will simply reflect your new, negative reaction back to you, thus perpetuating the very reality you are trying to change. You cannot escape a reflection by fighting with it. The solution is to learn to bless it. When you are faced with an aspect of your old reality that you do not like, you will pause, you will take a deep breath, and instead of reacting, you will say, either silently or aloud, I see you. I acknowledge that you are a reflection of an old belief and an old feeling state. I thank you for the information you are providing me. I bless you and I release you. And then, most importantly, you will immediately and consciously return your focus to cultivating the inner feeling of your wish already fulfilled. You are not ignoring your reality, but you are refusing to give your creative, powerful energy to it. You are acknowledging the old reflection, and then you are calmly and deliberately turning your full attention back to the source, your own smiling, abundant, and powerful inner state of being. You now understand the profound and simple truth of creation. Your inner world is the cause, your outer world is the effect. You have learned to become the master of the cause, and you are learning to relate to the effect with wisdom, with patience, and with unshakable faith. You are no longer a victim of the reflection in the mirror. You are its conscious and powerful creator. But what is the final, ultimate, and most blissful stage of this journey? What happens when you have held your new inner state so consistently and so powerfully that the mirror of your life has no choice but to reflect it back to you in its full, magnificent glory? What does it mean to be so completely merged with your desire that you are no longer attracting abundance, but you realize that you are abundance itself? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 6. When you are abundance itself. The ultimate destination on this journey, the final and most profound truth, is not about becoming a master at attracting abundance. It is about dissolving the illusion that you were ever, for one single moment, separate from it. Imagine a wave in the middle of the ocean. For its entire existence, the wave has believed itself to be a small, separate, and vulnerable entity, striving to become as big and as powerful as the great ocean it sees all around it. It spends its life chasing, striving, and trying to attract more water to itself, fearing that at any moment it might disappear. Then one day, in a moment of profound clarity, the wave has a magnificent realization. It is not separate from the ocean. It is the ocean. Its very substance is the water of the great ocean, simply expressing itself for a brief time as a unique and beautiful wave. In that moment, all of its striving, all of its fear, and all of its seeking for more water ceases. It does not need to attract the ocean, because it is the ocean. It is already everything it was ever trying to become. This is the final and most liberating realization on your path. The entire journey of manifestation, of assuming the feeling, of watching the mirror, has been a beautiful and necessary process to lead you to this ultimate truth. You are not a separate being trying to attract abundance. You are abundance itself, the universe itself, expressing itself for a brief and beautiful time as you. This is the great and final shift from a transactional mindset to a state of being. The challenge, even for advanced students, is the lingering sense of duality. As long as we are attracting abundance, there is still a subtle sense of separation. There is me over here, and there is abundance over there, and I need to do certain things to pull it toward me. This final chapter is about dissolving that duality completely. It is about so fully and completely integrating the feeling of abundance into your being that it is no longer a state you have to practice or assume. It is simply who you are. When you reach this state, the entire paradigm of manifestation flips. You are no longer trying to change your outer reality by changing your inner state. You have so completely become your new inner state that your outer reality changes automatically, effortlessly, and constantly, as a natural and continuous reflection of the truth of your being. This is the end of all techniques and the beginning of a life lived in a state of effortless, spontaneous, and joyful creation. The first principle of this ultimate state is the dissolving of the duality. You must gently begin to release the very concept of attracting something that you do not have. The practice for this is a subtle but profound shift in your language and your focus. Instead of saying, "I am attracting more money," you will begin to practice the thought, "I am an expression of the universe's infinite abundance, and money is one of the ways that abundance flows through me." Instead of, "I am trying to find a loving partner," you will shift to, "I am a being of pure love, and I naturally resonate with loving connections." This is not just a word game, it is a deep energetic repatterning. You are moving your identity from that of the seeker to that of the source. A powerful meditative practice for this is the I am meditation. In a quiet state, you will simply breathe, and on each exhale, you will silently repeat the phrase, "I am." You are not attaching anything to it. You are not, "I am wealthy," or "I am loved." You are simply connecting with the core, universal, and abundant essence of your own being. the pure consciousness that exists prior to all labels and all forms. This practice helps you to dissolve the illusion of the small, separate self and to merge with the infinite, abundant self that you truly are. The second principle of this state is that your life becomes a continuous expression of abundance rather than a pursuit of it. When a person knows on a bone-deep level that they are abundance, their natural and spontaneous impulse is to express that abundance. The primary way this expresses itself is through generosity. It is crucial to understand that this is not the transactional giving to get that is often taught. This is joyful, unconditional giving that arises naturally from a state of inner fullness. When you know that you are the ocean, you are not afraid to share your water. The practice is to simply follow the joyful, loving impulses of your own heart. When you feel a genuine, expansive urge to be generous, to leave an unexpectedly large tip, to anonymously donate to a cause, to share your time and your wisdom with someone in need, you simply do it, without any thought of what you will get in return. This joyful, outward flow of energy is the signature of a person who is living in the state of being abundance. It is the ultimate demonstration of your trust in your own infinite nature, and it is this very act of joyful expression that keeps the universal flow of abundance moving through you in a constant, powerful, and ever-expanding current. The third and ultimate principle is that you come to live in a state of profound peace and non-resistance. When you know that you are abundance itself, all of the striving, all of the chasing, and all of the anxiety completely and utterly dissolve. There is nothing to get, nothing to prove, and nothing to fear. You are able to move through your life with a deep and unshakable sense of peace, knowing that because you are one with the source of all things are available to you. You no longer need to control outcomes because you trust the divine unfolding of your own being. You no longer fear challenges because you see them as a part of the beautiful and perfect expression of life. You simply are. And in that state of pure being, you become a powerful, silent, and radiant presence of abundance in the world. Your life becomes your message, your peace becomes your power, and your very presence becomes a gift to everyone you meet, a living testament to the magnificent truth that the universe is not just outside of you, but is the very essence of who you are. You have now walked the complete and ultimate path, a sacred journey that has taken you from the noisy and complicated rules of manifestation to the silent, simple, and infinitely powerful state of being. You have learned to move beyond the techniques of doing and into the reality of your own divine identity. You have learned to dissolve the old self of lack, to assume the feeling of your new reality, to see the world as your perfect mirror, and finally to dissolve the final illusion of separation and to realize that you are, and always have been, abundance itself. The last word on abundance is not a word at all. It is the silent, peaceful, radiant, and profoundly powerful state of simply being who you truly are. We have come to the end of this sacred journey, a path that has led you beyond the techniques of manifestation and into the very heart of creation, your own state of being. You have learned to dissolve the old identity of lack, to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and to see your life as a perfect mirror of your consciousness. The final realization is the most profound. You are not a seeker of abundance, for you are abundance itself. You now hold the last word, which is not a word at all, but the silent, powerful, and peaceful state of knowing who you truly are. May you live from this beautiful truth now and always. Thank you for the honor of your presence and for your courage in taking this profound journey of self-realization. It has been a joy to walk this path with you. If this masterclass has helped you connect with the truth of your own abundant being, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the Success Attraction Formula channel for more guidance on your path. We would be thrilled to read about the new state of being you are embodying in the comments below.